Hey guys, welcome to the Cameraman Show. I'm Manav.
And I'm Kartik.
And in this podcast, we talk all things cameras, weddings, and business.
Pretty sure it's weddings, cameras, and business, but we'll just leave that.
We'll just go with it now. I can't be bothered.
You could tell that it's been a while since we've done this, which is an easy segue into us talking about the fact that this episode is just a catch up.
Yeah, and you people that do listen to us, maybe they realize we haven't released something for a while.
But I was also thinking about this on my way here. For anyone who's actually listened to this full episode, you must be personally invested into our personal brands enough to want to watch this episode where we're not really specifically giving advice. It's more about just talking about where we've been for the last how long?
I think we haven't put out anything in like 4 weeks because you've been away for like 2 months. So and we had a few episodes like going on while you were away because I was still editing here and there.
Well, maybe then this is just a catch up of us where we've been. I mean, obviously we've had episodes released in between that time about the last I guess 2.5 months of us not physically being close to each other. That sounds so weird. I mean, as in like I've obviously been traveling. I've had some exciting stories from.
So first of all, just tell us where you've been. So
I guess I'll just go first. Well, I basically left for London again to do a shorter stint this time. By shorter stint, I just mean the European summer wedding season. So that coincides with our winter period whenever we're here in Sydney, and it's a great time to go to UK, photograph some weddings. And I ended up booking in, I think I counted, and I told you this, 9 weddings in a period of 2 months, which is insanely
That's
high.
good.
That's
good. I mean, that's what you want. If you're, if you're going all the way there, like it covers for everything for those 2 months and everything. And
it's an abnormally high number for one person, for one business owner. But I left.
Some businesses out there like, what is this noob talking about? Like 9 in 2 months. We do 9 in a day.
They'd be like, this is fucking povo numbers. Like, what the fuck is this? But for myself, it was obviously a lot. I was actually you were with me the last wedding that I shot in Sydney. I'll talk about that real quickly. But I was quite literally dying, and obviously that's a bit of an exaggeration. But I don't
think that is, bro. Like honestly, like
if you saw, so every wedding photographer dreads and wedding videographer dreads this scenario, and it's when you come down with this incredible sickness, and it's bad to the extent where cold and flu isn't like an understatement. It's more of you just physically cannot get out of bed. To give you an indication, I woke up in the morning for bride prep at, I think it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I was on the floor of my shower and I had zero strength to stand. Now, by the way, this is literally 2 days before I fly out for London, just before 22nd of July. I remember that. And I was so scared because this is probably the second time I've been dramatically this sick. The first time was probably COVID. That was just the worst. But this time was a horrible experience. And I do not know for the life of me how I shot this wedding. But
I was there.
You were there with me.
Confirm.
Yeah. It was bad.
It was so bad to the point. By the way, this is before you left to London, right? This is the last wedding, and like this is to a point where this is like a Gurdwara wedding, like a Sikh wedding, and we do the whole. I think you do the prep or whatever in the morning, and then I see you in the morning, and you look so out of it,
bro.
Right?
I was like just not smiling. Yeah, I was
like proper dead.
Yeah, proper dead.
And then upstairs, like when the ceremony starts, you're like, bro, I kind of. I literally like take all my stuff upstairs, right, just to set up and stuff, and then I look at you. You literally sitting in the corner with your eyes closed, just legs like, straight out. I'm like dead.
I'm praying to Babaji. I'm like, give me the strength to capture this wedding. I remember. You know what? I'm proud of myself because I recently sent those photos off to the bride, and those photos were good. Like I shameless plug here, but I remember reviewing those photos, and I'm like, although yes, I didn't bring the energy, I still got the shots that I needed. So I was very proud of that. But I was so stressed out that I remember just after the Milne, where the grooms and the brides had exchanged garlands, I was like, I'm about to physically faint. I left because I told you to take over, and I remember.
No, remember you actually called another shooter.
I called another shooter. Yeah. I was just about to faint, and it was bad because I was about to create a scene. Like I was whiting out. Like things were way too bright in that room, and it's all white anyways. And I exited the scene because I'm like, this is going to be bad, and I'm just sitting down, and I'm like just dying, and then I'm like, I can't do this. I'm out, and then I call up Sandeep. Shout out to him, another shooter that I know in Sydney, and I'm like, mate, I need you here. I need your help. And
this was like 2 hours before the actual thing, right? Like maybe an hour and a half. And like, good on him. He came and he rocked up. And he rocked up. Like there are just shooters that you can just rely on. He's one of them. Shout out to him, and like
genuinely appreciate it. But I remember then shooting that wedding, somehow getting the strength to shoot that. After the wedding finished, I went back to sleep in my car whilst I think you did the family photos downstairs. And for anyone thinking about like what's the family photos if you're not a South Asian wedding photographer, we're basically about 200 upwards of family members
more
come
like
in.
300, bro. Yeah.
Come and just literally give you money as blessings. Take a family photo with you.
Not give us money. We wish.
Yeah. We wish. We wish we got. I was like, please give us money.
Give the couple money.
The couple money. Yeah. And then they go. And then we basically capture one photo on a tripod. Oh, like 3-4 photos, sorry, of that family on a tripod.
It's just group photos back to back, basically for like an hour and a half.
Literally requires zero skill. So I remember sleeping in the car for that whilst you did that for me.
Thanks for saying it requires zero skill. This guy did it.
It's literally the most boring part of the wedding that I think is just the worst thing to absolutely capture. So I slept in the car during that time, which got some level of strength back. Now I was contemplating not going to the post-wedding photo shoot, but I'm like, no, that's like the most important part. So let me just do that. And then you carried on afterwards, the post-wedding rituals back at the bride and groom's house. If you're not into ethnic weddings and you're unsure of what that is, it's a...
Like with Sikh weddings, you normally go to the bride's house after and then groom's house. It's typically like a 14-15 hour day.
Yeah, it's a long day. Around like and the reception is never on this day, by the way. It's never on this day. It's always a separate day. That was 2 days before I flew out before London. And then I flew out to London. I'll go into that in a bit, but why don't you just like tell me about have you been in the last couple of months?
Well, Sydney has been like off peak for those 2 months, and you know me, like I normally like to take my Junes and Julys off every year. It's just like it's proper winter. Not many weddings happening anyway.
You go into hibernation mode.
Yeah, those are my like 2 months to just catch up.
I can tell you go into hibernation mode.
And it's like those 2 months are just there to like just catch up on editing.
Do you reckon you got a lot of your backlog down?
Quite a bit. Yeah. Not it's never as much as you want to, but it was pretty good. So I was mostly just editing at home. I had like a few shoots here and there, but like more like pre-wedding shoots and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then since August onwards, it's been like back to pretty much.
Back to back. Yeah. I feel like just after July, it ramps up again. And obviously our Julys are a bit quiet. There are probably those 1 or 2 clients that will just come through and start booking in random things. As in they'll do a winter wedding. And our winter...
I don't know why more people don't do it. Because our winters are not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No.
I mean, I've been in UK winters and they're freaking bad.
I feel like UK summers are probably like our winters.
Yeah, that's not even an exaggeration to be honest. But I don't know why they don't. And unless it's like for some religious reasons, that's the first thing I was thinking of. But realistically, it's off peak. Your venues are going to be cheaper. You probably have a higher chance of your vendors being available because of
100%.
A lack of bookings, which means that there are availabilities there. Any brides and grooms that might happen to listen to this, think about it. You might save yourself a bit of money. I'm not saying a lot, a bit of money. But yeah, you'd also probably just guarantee that the people that you want on your wedding day are going to be there.
And usually like for example, like if it's a Sikh wedding or even like a Hindu wedding, like the brides wear like proper like lehengas that are like really heavy, right? So in winter, if anything, like you're not going to be cold, right?
I mean, ideally, yeah.
But oppositely, if you're doing it in summer, you're going to be sweating in those lehengas.
Yeah, see, I'm of the opinion I'd much rather be not freezing cold, but colder than boiling hot. Yeah. Because no one wants to be in a heavy Indian outfit, sweating balls and, dabbing their face and shit. And that's just not fun. It's not fun to photograph. It's not fun to be a groom or bride in that moment either. So I don't know why more people don't, to be honest. We should start a poll. We should start a poll on Instagram. But anywho, I digress. But okay, so you were doing a few minor shoots here and there, and then you were just playing catch up with backlog. Okay.
Which was very different to what you were doing.
Very different to what I was
like
doing.
Every single week.
I was pumping out, like I was like back-to-back shoots upon shoots upon shoots. I think for my UK experience, I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot more than the year and a half that I lived there for.
You told me about this.
Only because it was a shorter time period. The weddings were really good. And I didn't have too much downtime in between, which meant that I kept going back to back to back to back. And your
accommodation was much better this time as well,
accommodation was much better. Obviously, like half of it was a combination between Airbnbs and hotels. But sometimes I was house surfing, which is really fun. And I ended up having a better experience with my couples in the sense that they were very lovely. They were really, really fun. And I even went to Germany, which was an exciting part. So I had a wedding there. Yeah.
Oh, like an Indian wedding.
And it was a Punjabi Sikh wedding.
Oh, nice.
And it was.
How are they? Like, how's the German Punjabi wedding?
I was mean,
obviously this doesn't like mean all the Punjabi.
You know what? I
weddings
was
like that,
fucking tripping out
Yeah.
because I could not fathom, and this is my ignorance, but I could not fathom how there are Punjabi people that speak German. And we're talking about, we're talking about like,
proper.
like, you know, anywhere between 16, 20, you know, young adults like us up to 50, 60-year-olds who speak
Proper
German.
Yeah,
And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like I live in under a rock thinking that, either Punjabi, Hindi or English, 3 languages.
Yeah.
But then they're just going at it with like hardcore German.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
smiling.
wonder how many Indians are there in Germany? I would say quite a lot.
I think
right?
there is a decent population
Not
size.
definitely
I'm
one
not-
of those countries where there's a lot.
Not
like,
a lot like
yeah.
UK, of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for sure. And I think there's some historic reason as to how a lot of Punjabis ended up migrating to Germany, from what I remember looking into. But the wedding was great. All of the pre-wedding events were at the bride's home, excluding the Jago event. The wedding was actually in her backyard, funnily enough, and I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be at a venue, but then it got into like they decorated the marquee and stuff.
I've seen a lot of weddings that are happening in backyards, especially like in like the Canadian wedding scene and stuff as well.
You know
now.
what?
Like,
I think it's definitely underrated. I think a lot of people slowly doing more of the backyard home wedding events. If you have the size for it, by the way, and you have the vision, or you have a wedding planner who can decorate it, or a decor person who can decorate it, why not? Because you're saving a lot of money. You're at home, so you don't have to travel too far.
And usually they do like the marquee setup they do, and the decor is like very nice as well. Anyway, so it ends up looking pretty nice. Yeah.
So that was really exciting. And then the reception was a big reception. Like a lot of people were there. Like it was loud. It was crazy.
What are we looking at numbers wise? Like,
Like 400-500. One of those ones. Pretty
the
decent.
2 of you there, or
I had 2, so me and another shooter, and then the video boys had 3 shooters in total. So it's five people in a team. It was pretty big.
yeah.
And then from that went back to back with UK.
People in India, like, what is 5, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
5 would be like, we just got 5 photographers. Like, what are you on about? We also have like 6 videographers. They'll be like, this is petty numbers. So that was interesting. The other parts that I think I told you about is that they just do weddings differently UK, right? Like I've seen like there's this big thing with the whole like doll players. They'll do sets of 20 minutes and they'll have like 4 minimum, right? Dollies, like doing sets during the reception. And it goes off. We barely have that here in Sydney. They've got these big LCD screens that stretch across, you know, the main stage with photos and videos of the couple. We do not have any of that. Their venue lighting is just on point. They spend a lot more in terms of
DJs and everything as well, right? The entertainment in general.
Entertainment, definitely. The decor, the outfits as well. I don't know how is it that the average budget just tends to be higher in UK.
I mean, like 5th, 6th generation versus like 1st, 2nd here, if you think about it. Like most of the kids getting married now, like at least that we're like photographing, they're either like the first ones that are born here out of the family, or they got here when they were like super young, right?
Look, possibly.
So when you have like 5, 6, 7 generations and you have all the wealth accumulated, like what's like another 50k, 100k to you? You know what I mean?
I suppose. And for me, it was just a big shock in the sense that these are the weddings I want to capture, right? But I still want to live in Australia, and you can't have both, unfortunately. So
also, you think the quality of life is much better in Australia?
By far. And
why do you think that?
I think, well, I mean, there's so many reasons, but for the first that just come to mind, the weather. Like you can't deny we've just got really decent weather. Although I say this, it's raining outside. But generally speaking, our weather's like substantially average throughout the year. It's not too high and it's not too low. Whereas UK, I feel like sometimes you have a bit of an extremity there. Obviously, wet weather is an issue.
But you've lived in UK winter, right?
I did, yeah.
And was it like
I've lived in, and it's cold.
And stuff,
it's cold,
or?
yeah. It's cold. It snowed. It snowed, and when I was in London, and that was the first time. And so I was just like, Jesus, like this is intense. And then you've got things like the economy, right? You've got
what's in terms of like
living standards.
Isn't the economy like?
Well, I mean, just generally things are a bit expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like public transport sometimes also is a bit ridiculous. I also don't have a car, so that's a bit frustrating. Safety wise, crime is a big one. Like phones being
especially in London, I think.
Yeah,
mainly in
London. Massive. And so I've never known anyone here in Australia to have their phones pickpocketed or anything. What
have you been to?
Like in Penrith or some shit.
Like what's the Luton equivalent?
Like Mount Druitt or some shit. So I mean, I personally don't know anyone. But but in UK it's a very different.
But you got to think though, like you're comparing UK's city is where you lived in to Australian suburbs.
True.
Like
But
it's
we,
like
but we, but we live in Sydney.
Yeah, no,
as a
but
city.
imagine like if you lived in like Redfern, which would be like right next to the city, right?
Look, I'm not saying that crime doesn't exist in Australia. I'm just saying that the visibility and the.
I mean, it definitely is much lower.
It's just much lower,
yeah.
right? I think we have a generally lower crime rate. I don't know what the stats are, but I'm sure I can find it. So from that perspective, definitely the houses are just older in
And
UK
smaller,
and
right?
smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have
Unless you obviously go out.
yeah,
like,
and they don't have screens. I've realized. I was sleeping in one of the, I think it was
What
like
do you mean screen?
as in they don't have like screens. You know how when we open the window in our bedroom, there's a screen, like a screen that just stops bugs and shit. They don't have that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they're
it's just
it's just a window.
Yeah.
And it's weird that they don't have that. And I remember I was crashing at a friend's house, and I was like, the window opens in a particular way, but then there's no screen. So I was like, I hope bugs don't come in here. Not that some of them did, but yeah, just random stuff like that.
Are you scared of bugs?
I think so. Are you?
Depends on the type, I guess. Like normal bugs is whatever.
I mean, I just don't like bugs on me whilst I'm sleeping. Is that safe to say? Like,
Yeah.
you don't mind? I was gonna say you're weird.
No. Fair enough.
Anyways, so from that perspective, like the living standards are just different. So I would much rather live in Australia. Also, all my friends and family are, but work in UK. But the flight to get there is fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Just I hate it.
What's the fastest? Like if you like the fastest flight time?
A day.
It's like 24 hours.
23
hours.
I think you can do it in 23.
What from
Whoop-de fucking dude.
So-
1 hour less than 24.
So from here to like
So you can
Dubai,
go.
right?
You can go to. It's a few ways. Abu
Like
Dhabi.
the fastest way.
I think
Probably
Abu Dhabi,
Dubai, right? Yeah.
Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
And then maybe like an hour, like 2 hours stay there, which would be like the most, like the shortest.
The
you can
shortest
probably get.
layover I had is 3. 3 hours you kind of need because you just want to stretch out a little bit because
And then
you're
from
gear
there
up.
it's like another 6, 7.
Yeah,
probably,
so it's like 7. It's a long stretch when you go from Sydney to Abu Dhabi. I think it's like something like 13, 14 hours. Then you have a 3-hour layover. Then it's like 6 hours or 7 hours to UK. That's fine. I can do that. It's the first flight. That's freaking long. But anyways, I think I told you this. I was dreading going back to UK this time around because I was like, oh, fuck, man, it's so far. But now that I had been there, the weddings were like dope and I actually had a great time. So I left.
Do you think you're going to go again next year?
Undecided. But that being said, I do have 2 weddings, one in Greece and one's in Tenerife next year, both in Europe. So I will have to go back. But I'm excited for them because they're like destination weddings. So.
Are they both like bunched together or is it like further away?
No.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
That's
Like
annoying.
I'm literally flying a day just to go shoot to then fly a day back. But to be fair, I think what I might do is I'll try like reward myself a little bit.
Might as well just travel
I may as well like just spend a
if
bit
you're
more time
already
in that
there.
country. Yeah, definitely. So that's UK in a nutshell. But other
You're
than
saying something about the weddings in some wedding in UK or before we start talking about?
Did I? No. I think that I shot 9 weddings. I did one overseas out of all of them. Out of the 9, I think all of them were Punjabi weddings, and I think there was like 2 Hindu weddings out of all of them. And then I did a few random pre-shoots, one off every now and then. I did a few collabs, like I did a family photo shoot, which is really sweet, and I did a restaurant photo shoot, which is random as well, but that was to give back, so that was really nice. And then beyond that, traveling a little bit internally within UK and sussing out some restaurants. That was basically all I did. Had a fun time, and then I came back, and then a week later I jumped on a plane to go to Bali with the boys. And that was just a little holiday.
Yeah, I think that's what extended out your trip as well. Because initially you would have been back like a month and a half. Then that happened.
then I say this,
and then we're going
in 2 weeks time, which I'm
Heading
excited
off.
for.
Yeah.
So
That
you
should
and
be
I are
fun.
going to be on a plane, just living up in Hawaii.
Yeah.
While still
should be
working,
fun.
by the way.
Yeah, while still working.
We still have a lot to catch up on. How's business with you? What's been happening of late? What's on the agenda? What's remainder for this year? How's next year looking for you?
Next year's looking really busy. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm actually excited because destination weddings have started coming back.
Fantastic.
Right, which is good. And I mean, for us, like living in Sydney, destinations more like either Fiji or Bali and that kind of stuff, right? Like really, we shoot like in Europe or whatever. So I mean, we are doing one like
In
next
Thailand
year as
next
well,
year. I'm
Thailand.
excited
So
for
that
that,
should be a lot of fun. And then I've got a couple of inquiries for like one for like, and I think another one in Thailand, another one in Fiji, one in Bali. So that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so looking
awesome.
pretty good. Rest of this year is pretty easy. Like on purpose, I took a few weddings this year because I was like March, April, like it was pretty full on, like more than usual. So I was like, I want to take time to just like make sure I edit everything properly.
Of course.
So yeah, the rest of this year is pretty chill. But yeah.
Now that back though, we did have one wedding that I think you shot for me, which is really good. So just to get back into the swing of things, and it was a Punjabi Sikh wedding, pretty easygoing couple. They were very chill. I think. They were very chill. But mind you,
I think the guy was very stressed out. Either stressed out or he was like very nervous or something. I don't know what it was, but
potentially
because I did the groom prep for you for that one, and
how was it,
bro? We rocked up in the morning, and I think RC was doing video for that.
RC was doing video, and then we were just doing photos.
Yeah. So I rocked up, and bro, we just like the whole groom prep setup was like in the front lounge, which is like fine. That's normal. Like that's fine. They had like a nice backdrop setup, everything. Nice. But the room was maybe like 3x3 or like 4x4.
Okay,
like
so
that kind of like it's a tight room, like not like tight to a point where it's like very like, but it's like
it's small.
But when you get people there, it becomes very crowded. And I'm like trying to do the groom prep, and I kid you not, like there was always like maybe a minimum 10 people in that room at all times, and it got to a point where it was like 20-25 people just like looking around doing photos.
That's frustrating.
In a tiny room.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like get people to like be like, hey, can you guys like move out of the way, because like obviously I don't want them in the photo in the background or whatever, and like no one's listening and everyone's just like moving very slowly, and on top, like I think there was something wrong with, like, you know how the girls like do the pug and stuff,
the turban.
They took a very long time. I don't know why. I think maybe like they couldn't get it like hooked at the back or whatever, right? So that ate up into like his solo shots time. And
see, this is frustrating because you need that time to get solos, but when there's so much going on, you need to recover that at the post-wedding photo shoot, which is what I remember I ended up doing.
Yeah.
But it's just difficult because you just want to concentrate in the morning. And I've realized ethnic weddings are really bad at this.
Yeah. Whereas think about this. I go to them, I'm like, hey, so this is after like everything's done now. Family photos are done as well. And I'm like, hey, let's do a few solos. Some uncle goes, oh, you can do that at the Gurdwara later on. It looks better there anyway.
Are you serious? No, it does not look better there, brah. This is why we're hired. No, it doesn't.
They like do all this. No, they were telling to the group, like, what are you doing now? Like, we have to go. Like, do all this at Gurdwara later on. Like, you don't
do all this. Go get married later. No, not big deal.
And the groom's like, no, we have to get a few at least. So it's at least the groom was like, I want to get a few
I think
photos
the
done.
challenge with that is that they don't, obviously uncles just don't care. They don't know what's up also.
As long as their photo's taken with the groom,
they don't give a shit.
But
then this is going to be a problem when we send them the gallery and the groom's like, hey, do you have any more photos? We're like, no, we don't, because we didn't have enough time. And I think Western weddings do this a lot better in the sense that they allocate great space, great time. And even, I've shot some Western weddings where it has been small, but it's not crowded because they're not freaking flooding the place with like a whole bunch of family members. They're like, hey, only the groom's family needs to be here and the groom. That's it.
Also, the Western weddings normally do it like one after the other. Like a lot of times you're not even doing simultaneous.
Yeah.
So it'll be like the groom prep happens for like an hour and a half, and then you go and do the bride prep for like an hour and a half, and then the ceremony happens. Like
but
after, so.
The execution there is what ethnic weddings need to understand about, because it blows my mind, and it's so funny because opposite to you, I actually had a great experience at the bride.
Yeah. No, you were showing me all the photos. I'm like, bro, you got like all this time to take all these photos. Like we had like proper rush.
It was very quiet, and I got there earlier than the video team, so I'm like, let me just get my shots in now, which I absolutely loved. But it was very quiet in the sense that like no extended family members. Yeah, if brides and grooms, if you happen to get to this point, I think we've talked about this in several different episodes, but if you can please just ease up and calm down and just tell your family members, extended, not immediate, extended, to just not be there, I'd be very happy about that. I think we'd both be very happy about that because they're going to be there at the Gurdwara anyway. They're going to be at the temple anyways. So you're going to get those family shots there anyways. I was going through this is when you had left and I was doing the family photos. I was literally seeing the same family members come and take the exact same photo twice.
I mean, at least that happened like at the Gurdwara. This happened to us in the morning. Same people in the morning coming back taking photos.
That's so annoying.
Yeah,
that's so annoying.
I think it's like this kind of stuff like stresses the groom out a bit as well. And obviously the groom's trying to just stay composed.
Of course.
But it got to a point where like it was so hard to even make the groom smile because he was just like so
stressed
out, serious or whatever it was.
What I find the greatest irony, just the greatest contradiction, is I go from shooting 9 weddings from UK and I get humbled so quickly when I come back to Sydney and I get thrown into this situation.
I got humbled.
You
had a great time at bride prep.
I mean, to be fair, actually, you got humbled, but then obviously I would look through the photos. But it was just, this is the difference that we're
Did you end up doing more shots after?
I did. I went to the post-wedding location.
I literally go to you, I'm like, bro, make sure you do more solos of the
challenge,
groom.
you know what? The challenge that I had actually at the post-wedding photo shoot, I don't know if I told you this, was the groom had, dare I say, and I think
I had dare ice coffee. I'm like, what? The groom dare ice coffee?
He had dare ice coffee during the post-wedding photo shoot.
Anyway.
He had about 14 groomsmen. Who the fuck does that?
Wait, hold on. How many bridesmaids were there?
A lot less.
Like what? 8?
Like
7? What?
I'm gonna say 8.
So together you're looking at like 25 people bridal party.
Yeah. And bruh, what do you do with 25 people?
Especially if it's like uneven numbers as well. It gets a bit challenging.
Like how do you, first of all, the composition with that. Again, bride and grooms, if you can not have upwards of 25 people in your bridal party, that would be really appreciated.
Like what's the ideal number? Like 5, 6 on each side, ideally?
Ideally? No more than 5.
Yeah.
No more than 5.
Because if it's only
each
2
side.
or 3, then sometimes it becomes a bit empty, but not really. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
I would say 5 is like
I would say
ideal.
5 is a good number.
Ideal, right?
I mean, to be fair, actually, I can share this right now. I'm not that it's noticeable, but maybe it might be. I'm a bit hairier now. It's a very random thing to say, but I'm.
Yeah.
I'm a groomsman, and I'm very honored.
Congratulations!
Thank you, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm very honored to be a groomsman of a close friend of mine coming up, whose wedding is literally this coming week, and he's got it right. He knows what's up. There's 5 of us, and
Is it 5 bridesmaids as well?
I don't know. I haven't. I'm not too sure, but I would imagine possibly.
Like minus 15.
Fuck's sake. Yeah. But I'm one of 5, and then there was obviously the groom, and that's an easy situation to manage. And I'm hairy because I'm growing out my beard.
Because you gotta wear like
I'm wearing a pug.
Dang.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Never seen you wear a pug before.
I've never seen me.
Take
wear
some
a pug.
good photos.
I won't. Yeah. I won't. I definitely won't. I don't think I suit the face structure for it. And it's weird being on this side, which is maybe something we can talk about, because you and I both attended a Sangeet recently.
Yeah.
And we rocked up, and I remember we actually bumped in a few of our clients. We bumped into
like maybe 3 couples. I'm
you're photographing soon. Yeah. So it was weird. I mean, I had a fun time. Don't get me wrong. We were both drinking as well, but it was weird attending a venue that we both shot at
as a guest.
As a guest, and also seeing couples that we photographed, also seeing your upcoming clients, and it just felt so odd. Because I think I asked you how many times that year in 2024, this year, have you attended anything? Your number was a lot higher than mine.
This is my
one. This is my first event.
I've probably done like maybe 3 times
this year. I mean, that's still decent. But it just felt weird to be there, not shoot. Also to see our colleagues in that room, people that we know of in the industry, and one of our own shooters as well. And to sit there, we also sat at the back because there was a lot of people. It was just
what I realized was like it's very boring attending an event when you're not shooting. In a way, that time goes very slow.
Yeah.
Like when you're shooting, the time flies. You don't even know before you know it's dance floor.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I was performing, so that was okay. Like I had a few things to do that day. I had an entrance as well, which is random. That I love that.
I don't mean boring in the sense that it was like a boring event. It just means like,
as in it's just different because
you're not used to it.
We're usually up and running and around and stuff. So for us, it's very unusual. To sit down and be like, oh, is this what people do here? Like when you're
though the event and the performance was actually quite a lot of fun to watch, but it was just overall, I just felt like I was just like, what am I doing?
It's different because I'm not in the place where I can sit down for several hours and just watch people.
Bro, all photographers can relate to this.
It felt a bit weird, and of course, like, you know, I was busy doing a few things, and then we got food, had drinks and stuff, and that was okay. And then when the dance floor started, I remember I was dancing a lot, but the in between moments are the parts where I'm just like, okay. But yeah, I'm attending a wedding. I'm a groomsman now, so I get to be on the other side. This is my first time being a groomsman. I really liked your Yummy dance, bro. It was very nice. I'm not gonna. I feel like just for the context of YouTube, I should insert a clip of it or something. that would be very interesting. But yeah, I did a performance to Yummy, and for anyone who doesn't know what that song is, go and check it out on YouTube first.
We'll put a clip. We'll put a clip
or something. Yeah. Anywho, and it was a fun time practicing with this group of people and doing this performance. I was nervous for it. I haven't performed in a while, so that was pretty sick. You've been a groomsman before, right?
No.
Have you never been a groomsman before?
No. Because all my clothes.
I thought for some reason you'd been a groomsman before.
All the closemates of mine, they never had groomsmen when they got married. Yeah.
All right. Well, I was gonna ask.
They know I ain't gonna do shit, so they're like, what's the point?
The most unreliable groomsman. I was gonna say, do you have any advice for me? But you're probably the worst person. I'm just trying to.
Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up. We've been given time instructions instructions as to when to arrive. So I feel like that's
as long as you're on time.
You're on time. Yeah. I think it's like something like 6 a.m. in the morning.
I feel like bridesmaids have more of a duty because obviously they have to like even when the girl sits down, they have to like do the lenga and everything. Groomsmen don't do shit, bro. As long as it's very hard to fuck up as a groomsman. So if you fuck up,
no, I think you can fuck up as a groomsman.
How?
Either say you're drunk at some pre-wedding event.
Yeah, so you gotta like fucking fuck up. Yeah. You can't like you gotta go out of your way to fuck up. Like, true. You know what I mean?
Either you're drunk at a groom's event, a pre-wedding event, and you create like a scene, or you're inappropriate. You run late all the time, and you never show support. You probably should come with a level of enthusiasm rather than going, fuck, here we go, I have to go to you obviously are close enough to be a friend of the groom, to be a groomsman. So I think an attitude is required for that. You should always show support and check in and make sure that person's feeling valued and seen and heard, right? Like these are some things I guess you can do as a groomsman.
You've thought a lot about this.
Well, I mean, you know what? Yeah, fuck you, I have, all right? Like, I'm thinking if I was a groom and I had a groomsman, what things would I want them to make?
Have you ever seen a groomsman fuck up?
A groomsman fuck up? Yeah. So I've seen a few drunk groomsmen, but to be fair, it's a reception, so I don't think that really matters. But I have seen a groomsman do some pretty dodge stuff with some bridesmaids.
No names, but
no names. Yeah.
What do you mean by dodge
just
stuff?
like hooking up and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's at the reception, so like I guess you do you, boo. You do you, boo.
But is that even fucking up? What if the bridesmaid's into him as well?
Then that's if it's mutually consensual. Then that's not really.
Well, I mean, if it's not, then it's basically.
Oh, actually, no. We've seen this. Remember? So there was a bridesmaid and a groomsman. You know exactly what wedding I'm talking about, where they dated and then they broke up, and then there were bridesmaids and groomsmen on either side.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't weird. I don't think
it was weird.
It wasn't weird, but
they were very
civil.
Civil about it.
Yeah. But you could tell there was like you just keep your distance, I'll keep mine. I don't think that's really a fuck up. That's just more of a story.
It's just an awkward situation, but it's not really a fuck up.
It's not really a fuck up. Yeah. I the only other drama that I remember seeing, and you were with me for this client as well.
Why is it always me?
I don't know. Like either you attract this shit into my life. I haven't decided. I don't know this, but I remember the bridesmaids did not. I would say I don't know what word it is. I think did not like is a strong sentence, but did not get on so well with the bride, and that's because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because and I think the bride was
like super rude to them.
Yeah, I was going to say even passive aggressive, which makes it even worse. But it was pretty obvious. Like you could walk into that room and go, "There's a bit of tension here." And I remember,
I think it was like a proper bride's love vibe.
I remember bumping into one of the bridesmaids. Dare I say, 8-9 months after that wedding at some friend's event, and we had a chat. And I'm like, "Oh, I dropped the bride's name," and I'm like, "Oh, how's that person?" And then they just looked at me and smiled and said, "Yeah, we haven't talked since then."
Oh damn!
And I'm like, if you mean to tell me as a bridesmaid you've not talked to the bride since 8-9 months ago, yeah, bro, you're done. You're done. You don't want to be friends, and I don't think you ever will be.
Yeah.
And so I asked this person, I'm like, if you ever get married tomorrow, would that bride be a bridesmaid? She goes, fuck no.
Why the fuck would that?
She's like, definitely not. And I'm like, yeah, that's valid. That's definitely valid.
That takes me to the point, why do people get bridesmaids and groomsmen at their wedding that are not like absolutely close best friends to them? Because it doesn't make much sense to me otherwise. Because like, look, that kind of situation probably would not happen if you're like a very good friend.
I mean, right? our go-to saying is it just requires a lot of self-awareness. I was re-editing one of our.
You reckon it's like people just want to like get numbers?
I think it was a numbers game.
Yeah,
I think it's a numbers game because the groom didn't.
So
have
I don't really care who my bridesmaids is. I just want to have like
the grooms. When I looked at the groomsmen, they all seemed tight.
Yeah,
and their numbers seemed like a particular higher number. So I'm thinking maybe the bride tried to match the groom's numbers.
Just random.
She's like,
she
fuck
knows,
it. I need the equal numbers here.
Yeah.
Let me just.
That's so bad.
Oh, I mean, but people don't give a shit. They're a bit savage when it comes to these things.
Like they just want the photos to look aesthetic, so the numbers are equal or whatever.
Yeah, it almost feels like I'm doing it for show, or I'm doing it for a reason of like, I need to equally match or whatever it is. So I will report about my experience as a groomsman post this wedding, but I'm excited because I think it's been more fun. I'm close to the groom as well, which is great. We have a great relationship, and I think for me it's something I've never done before. I've only ever been on the other side, and that other side being as a photographer. So I don't know what other etiquettes. Maybe this is an episode in its own. I feel like I think we shortlisted this as a potential episode as bridesmaid and groomsman etiquette. So we might talk about this, which is remind me, we'll probably revisit this entire conversation. Beyond that, and me traveling with you to Hawaii, the only other countries that I have left this year
Oh yeah, you got like 2 more.
I've got 2 more. The irony of me saying this is Udaipur in India.
Yeah,
and
that's
Phoenix.
Gonna be a sick wedding.
Yeah.
This is one of those like palace weddings.
Yeah, it's
right?
like a fort.
Yeah,
it's a fort. It's a fort, and I'm excited for that because it's just different. UK couple, and then I've got one in Phoenix, Arizona. So
that's so random.
That's very random. But yeah. But I'm keen
but that's
for
towards like the end of the year.
Yeah.
You reckon you're gonna spend your New Year's there?
I don't know. I don't know because shout out to my sister. She's preggers with the number 2 on the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But I most likely will miss the delivery of that. Unfortunately, so brother of the year is not going.
Well,
to
I mean,
me.
you're not the husband. As long as the husband's there, that's the main thing.
I obviously like to be around for.
Bro,
when
I don't
that
think I was at my sister's delivery. I don't think any I don't think brothers are supposed to be there at sister's delivery.
What I mean by that is like be there on the day. Can you imagine? If you're like, oh hey sis, how's it going? I'm gonna help you deliver. This podcast's going off the rails. Editor's gonna be like, what the fuck's wrong with these 2 guys? As in the sense that like I'd like to be around, not on the fucking, not in the delivery room. I mean on the day, like go and see my sister. That fuck anyway.
Kartik sister, if you listen to this, sorry about this.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, as in I'm gonna. The wedding that I've got in America coincides with my sister's second being born, and I think I'm gonna miss that. And then I think I finished 2 days before New Year's, and last year I was in London celebrating New Year's, and I wasn't with my people, so I'd like to be with my people. Yeah.
When's that wedding? Like when do you finish?
Starts just after Christmas.
Oh damn.
Goes for about 3-4 days, and
so
then
you finish just before
New Year's. So I've got a decision to make: do I come back or do I stay?
If you come back, do you make the New Year's here?
Yeah, I would make the New Year's.
Oh, then
but
might be.
I mean, I could have an opportunity, but I don't know. No one's got
maybe go like a bit earlier if you want to travel. So travel before the wedding.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
And then come back straight away.
Yeah, I think I'm doing that. So I don't know what I would probably end up doing if I wanted to have a fun New Year's. I could stay in America, but I have no idea. So I've got 2.
I mean, it's always nice to spend New Year's with like your close family.
That would be ideal considering last year it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the end of the year plans for me. And then next year I'm gearing up to shoot a lot of weddings. I'm going ape shit, like batshit crazy. Photo only, heavy on photos. And I think
you stopped doing video altogether.
Permanently. I don't want to do that shit. Yeah. And then I think my number that I'm booked so far 23, but I'm trying to aim for like upwards of 40. So yeah, let's just see what happens. We've got last quarter of the year left to book in some stuff. I'm sure that number will probably go up to hopefully just after mid-20s, early like late 20s. If anything.
I think I'm pretty much booked out till like May, June at least fully. And then I'm booking out the second half of the year, but even that's getting like quite busy now.
Yeah. So that's
another 2-3 months. I think we're done for next year.
Yeah. But now that I guess we're back, we're hoping to continue on the podcast episodes a bit more regularly.
Yeah, I think we'll go back to doing once a week.
Yeah,
how we were doing before.
Yeah, we'll be releasing an episode once a week also, but aiming to do a bit more YouTube content. So if you are interested in watching that, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you've made it to the end of this episode, like I said earlier at the beginning of this episode, you must either be very interested in our personal lives to actually want to know what the 2 of us are up to, which makes you feel very valued. Imagine this episode download just gets like 2 views and it's you and I.
No gives a fuck.
Maybe 3, maybe my mum. Maybe my mum might want to actually watch this. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But if it happens to get a lot more views, I'll be very happy. You know what we should do? Let's do a little giveaway for anyone watching, like making it to the end of this, like, you know what I mean? Type of thing.
What are you going to give away?
I'd like a photo shoot. Not that it's a complete giveaway. You still got to pay for that shit. Nah.
You know what giveaway means, bro?
Yeah, true. Like, to give away something.
Are you trying to get up a business for people that are being loyal to you, listen to the end? Oh, still pay me. Yeah.
No, it's like...
How do I cancel that idea?
Okay, right. No, because I was thinking like it's a little nugget to reward someone. You know, because...
It's a nugget that you got to pay for this.
Yeah, you need to pay for the nugget. You got to pay us for that nugget. You know, the idea came to me.
Calm down, bro. Calm down.
The idea came to me, you know, when you're on YouTube and people say like, drop, you know, a keyword in the comment section below if you've made it this far, and I'll send you something like that.
Kartik's gonna send everyone a PlayStation 5. Whoever drops a like and comment on this video.
Imagine we said comment.
No one's gonna get it.
No. Imagine we said comment. I'm here and watching as a boring example, but you get free wedding photography, videography coverage. Just imagine, I don't know, it's obviously not going to happen, but just imagine.
Do you want to go broke? It's like an accountant trying to get someone, be like, I'll do your tax for free for like 1,000 people.
Yeah. But imagine, like, if we actually stuck to that, obviously.
I mean, if you want to troll people, sure.
Yeah, look, sure.
Ain't nobody doing free wedding photography.
But can you imagine if we were really passionate about that giveaway? No. Hear me out.
There's something that I can't even imagine. I guess I don't even
but then some random guest listener in whatever country listened to it and said and commented, and we actually shot their wedding for complete free. Now, obviously, that's probably never going to happen, which kind of sucks to even talk about this right now. But
I want to see where this is going. This is the most pointless.
No. But what a flex it would be for that one person to go, I tuned in to a random podcast that I didn't even regularly listen to. Maybe you did. Hopefully you actually did. And I happened to be just watch the most irrelevant, I would say, to them episode, because we're not really giving advice here. We're just talking about our personal lives today. And we dropped a little bit of a, hey, here's a thank you for just listening in. And they actually commented. And imagine what an experience that would be for them.
You done?
Yeah.
All right. If you watch this far, thank you so much. You ain't getting no free photo shoot.
No free wedding.
You ain't getting no fucking PlayStation 5.
None of this shit.
None of this shit. But
sorry.
Thank you so much. Hit the like. If you can, after all this, still hit the like and subscribe button.
If you're still here, that deserves for you to hit the like button. I think.
Deserves.
I mean, yeah, because you've happened to listen to the entire episode. You probably would have not been interested within the first 5 minutes and turned away. But if you happen to have been here, you've obviously liked it enough to continue to be here.
I can see your podcasting skills are a bit rusty right now. The kind of shit that you're talking.
I'm out of it so badly right now. You know when you no. You know what it is. You know what it is. You know when you don't go to the gym and you have DOMs the next day. You're just out of it. We've not done a podcast episode in a while, so we're a bit out of it.
I don't think we are out of it.
Yeah, look, it could just be me.
Anyways, you can do the outro.
Make sure you hit that like button, comment down anything that you'd like to, I don't know, get us to talk about. Rate this 5 stars, please. That'd be really, really appreciative. And we will see you in the next episode.
Peace.